Okay, I don't know if this is a channel dream or if this dream have any meaning, but I'm gonna share it. So I was trying to figure out like what the first dream was about because the first dream ties into the second part of the dream, which ties into the third part of the dream. Mind you, this is all one dream. It's just different viewpoints and everything. So the first dream, it was almost like a challenge, like first person to turn their tongue green would win. Like if it was almost like you had to eat you had to eat like a plant or something, right? And if you joined the challenge, or if you joined a challenge after eating that plant, you basically would lose, because joining the challenge meant you'd have to continue to eat more of that plant, but in a very auspicious way. And so it meant like you were going to basically like lose your tongue, right? But if you ate that plant and didn't eat the plant like every so often, like as much as you'd have to eat the plant while you took the challenge, then you basically like you were I was gonna say worthless, but no, you're priceless, or like your worth, your your net worth is like gonna be very big, or like you're worth something. Like it, I don't know how to explain it. And so um I don't remember what happened after that, but I ended up in a school library. Okay, imagine an elementary school library. And there were convicts there, like jail people there. And I don't remember why we was in there, but the whole time we were in there, I felt like something was off. I felt like someone was going to I felt like the convicts, everybody was telling us like how they're trying to change, turn themselves around and everything. And there was mad adults, there was mad kids. The whole school was filled with kids, and this library was like even more filled with kids. Like each classroom was filled and everything. And everyone was trying to tell us like, oh, they're good. Like even though they're still in jail, these are the people that's doing good in jail, and yada yada, this and that, right? And something just felt so off. Like you knew a bomb was gonna go off, right? Boy, I look up, the convicts running out the door, right? At first they were being guarded. The convicts running out the door, the guard that was guarding them, like flipping and flapping over something on the floor. And they all run out and like into the school and everything, right? The adults, they didn't give a fuck. I mean, they was trying to chase them down or whatever. Like we were all trying to chase them down. Let me be straight. Like we were all ran out that door after them, but we had lost them, right? Mind you, we still in the school, bro. We walking around the school and shit. No, we was walking back to the door and shit, right? And there was this convict with a mask on, and he was pretending to be like a teacher or something, right? Because there was a teacher who always walked around with a mask on each and every day. Boy, I look up and I was like, what the fuck? They were coming with guns, and they had like their faces wrapped up and stuff, and they were coming back with guns. And I was trying to tell the teachers like, they're coming with guns. They have guns, right? And nobody was listening to me until they actually saw the guns. So stupid. Like nobody was literally nobody was listening. And so I ended up finding out by hearing one of them talk too damn much that they were trying to rob the school's treasury. I think that's what it's called, the treasury department of the school. And so after I found out, I ran past all of them because they didn't know I knew. They was trying to like sneak their ways to the treasury, right? To the office, to where the treasury is at and everything, where the money is, right? And this is where things get different because whew, we get to the treasury, and the treasury have like these little bulletproof slides, like it's like 7 of them behind each desk, right? So in order to leave your desk, you got to go through like 7 different bulletproof glasses if your desk is the very far one, or you could just go under yours and go to the back, right? So I slide behind one, and the way that these activate is you got to slam them into the ground, almost like how that CIA agent in Black Panther had to cross his hands and pull it down to let be released from the other planes and everything. It was almost like that, but you had to go in and you had to like motion your hands downward to lock it. And they were trying to shoot through the glass. Mind you, I'm literally on the other side of the glass. So, and it was like 9, 10 convicts. Nobody was doing shit but me. So I'm going through, I'm slumming these down, right? They shooting enough to have, they got AKs and shit. They ain't got handguns. They got AKs and rifles and all that shit. So they shooting through the glass to make dents, right? They're still on like the third one when I'm on the seventh one, just slumming them down, and then I run out the back. And out the back, you have to go through like this alley thingy, and the alley led you to this, what was it called? Like a it was almost like a bounce house, but it went through the whole entire back of a neighborhood, and it was like connected to the floor, and then there was a moment where it wasn't connected to the floor. It lifted up off the floor because of the way that the, you know how in those movies, the hell in Black Panther, I just watched that movie recently, so sorry if I keep referring to it, but like how they were chasing old dude in South Korea, I think it was, and the cars was flying off of the ground and it landed back. It was like in that space. It was that kind of space right there that the bounce house was like kind of protected. And the bounce house was a rainbow, and that rainbow stood for something. It didn't stand for gays. It literally stood for magic and power and stuff like that, right? So I had like the moment that it came to the jump, I jumped off the rainbow and went under the rainbow, right? Because nobody would think to do that. And for some reason, in that moment, I thought, yeah, because this is what I used to do in my childhood when we was playing hide and seek. Nobody ever found me. I was like, I woke up and was like, I've never done that, but I guess, right? Okay, so I hide under that part, right? And this person that looked like Armand from Armand and Trey, he was, I guess it was Armand from Armand and Trey. He was the one chasing me. Like he was the only person that got through all 7 bullets. And I know that sounds weird, but I feel like he was the only one who came my way because there were so many different pathways you could go down while I was going down the alley. And so I think he's the only one that went all the way through the alley like how I did. Everybody else broke off into different parts to try to find me, because I guess without realizing I was the money that they were after. Because I never joined a challenge. I was always like the good person. I was never the person to join the challenge. So I was very I was basically very rich, right? And I didn't know it. And so he was calling out to me and everything, right? He even walked on top of me and kept walking, kept walking. He waited. I guess he had the same idea I did, but instead of him checking on my side to see if that's where I'd go, he checked on the very other side, which was like 20 feet away, and it was dark outside, so he couldn't really see me, right? Even when he looked under the rainbow. And all of a sudden he did see me, but I froze like as if I was a statue, and I just kept saying, I'm a statue, I'm a statue, I'm a statue. He was like, damn, that's one crazy ass statue, right? He shot at the statue. He shot at me, and I don't know how the fuck I didn't get hit because his gun was aiming right at me, but he ended up shooting the playhouse, or like he ended up shooting under the rainbow. Mind you, it's air inflated, so he was like, yeah, if that's not a statue, that shit gonna come from up under there before this whole like inflative thing lose all its air, right? I was like, yeah, you bet. Right. Mind you, I'm frozen in place. He walked away for hours. I'm not sure if he actually walked away or if he was waiting for me to come from under it. So I stayed under there until the whole entire thing went flat, and I almost like made myself into like a an infant position so I can create this little air pocket for myself, and that's what I ended up doing. And like 12 hours later, they picked it up to see if anything was under there, and they finally found me, right? And mind you, because of that air pocket, that was the only reason that I was able to like survive it and everything. Damn, I just realized I was talking for 9 whole minutes about this dream. Anyway, so yeah, the air pocket was the only way that I was able to survive this whole situation. And so they grabbed me. It's crazy because there's still a lot more to this dream. So so they grabbed me and they take me like up the street and everything. They take me up the street and everything, and um, give me a second. I'm rubbing my eye. They take me up the street and everything, and they was talking about how they was gonna take me to like Dubai and shit to like use my fortune and everything. Like they were literally after me so they can use my richness, right? So I guess they were gonna use the essence of me. Like I didn't know how the fuck I was so rich and everything, but it made me think. And I was like, bro, if I'm so rich and if I'm so powerful, I can think of anything and it'll come to life, right? So you know that little that car from Harry Potter that can fly and everything. I thought of it and it came. I was like, holy shit. And I was like, I thought, okay, take me back to school, right? So they take me back to school, right? And by the time that the car comes, like all of the everyone who couldn't get a hold of me, they like died. Like I guess they were so like low in energy that they just faded away, but they like died. Anyone who couldn't like get hold of me died. And I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I think I was part of their challenge and everything. It was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah, they ended up dying. And so um the car wasn't going anywhere, and I remembered it's because nobody's driving it. Even though it did move some, like it wasn't going like to fly or anything. It was just like barely floating. And I think it's just because that's how much my power can control it or whatever. And so um I thought of that little the train that comes. I'm sorry, I'm still yawning. So I thought of the little train that comes when like a witch or a wizard has been left for homeless and everything, like, and so in Harry Potter once again, and and it came, and I was able to like use it to get to the school, and I went to school and I picked up like my brother and a couple of my cousins and stuff, right, and because it was only the way that it was activated was through blood, so I couldn't really pick up anybody else. I could just only pick up the family that was with me in the school. And so I picked it up, and the way that it worked was like it was in my bracelet. And so long as everybody held on to their part of the bracelet, we'd all basically be in the train or part of that train, right? It was so crazy. So it was basically flying through a bracelet. And it ended up taking us to like this like beach resort kind of situation. And through the resort, the way that you'd pass through this part is if you got through the treacherous waters, and these waters lasted about 100 yards, right? And so my brother held on to my other brother because he was scared of water. And I think the reason why he was scared of the water was because of this memory I had of him. We were in a pool and he was drowning in 3 feet. And it was because he wasn't like, he was panicking rather than being calm and letting the water push him all the way down so he could bounce back up. And mind you, we were in 3 feet. He was like 4 foot, maybe even 5 foot already. He was tall enough to stand at 3 feet. We were all tall enough to stand at 3 feet. I know that much. Yeah, and so he held on to my brother and then he started floating. I started drowning. I was drowning. It was almost like I wasn't trying to swim. I was trying to keep my feet on the bottom of the ground so I could just walk, but the waters were just too treacherous, right? And so all of a sudden, this like dragon slash snake like being, it was golden by the way, which makes me think that I was the one who like called it towards us, started coming through, and I saw it and I grabbed my hand onto one of the fins, right? And as I'm like getting dragged by this thingy, I see like I lost one of my cousins in the water. I was like, why the hell didn't he grab onto it? Like, but yeah, so we go and we come to like this resort, and I think it's like a resort for kids or something like that. And because there were literally no adults, there were just all kids. And so my brother and my cousin, wanted to go down the slide with us. So we go down the slide. At first it's a slide. Then it turns into like some jungle tree shit, right? Like you couldn't slide down it. You had to figure your way off of that bitch, right? So we finally get off and we see that my brother and my cousin were on the other side, on this other side of the playground, which was just blocked by a pretty high barrier. Like we could still see their faces and everything. It was just blocked by this really high barrier. So you had to go down and walk all the way around to basically like hit a U-turn to go where they were. And the two cousins that was with me, they were just standing there while I figured it out. And when I showed them, they were like, "Oh, here we come." So they came over, right? And so as we're walking, there's almost like this computer kind of situation. I know it's crazy because we're at a resort, right? And so there was two boys sitting next to each other with a computer in the middle of them, and they were calling my cousin over because while we were going there, my cousin had bigger boobs than mine. She doesn't in reality, but in this she did, and she had a really, really, really flat ass. And that reminded me part of the dream where we were getting checked. They just wanted her to check in her boobs, make sure there was nothing there. So she checked in her boobs, right? There was nothing there. Then she goes and pulled down her skirt, and I was like, "You doing too much, bro." She pulled down her skirt to show them her ass, like kiss my ass now. You feel me? You want to check under there too? I was like, "You're doing too much, bro. Calm down, calm down." So anyway, we get to this resort and everything, and there's two boys who was sitting there, right? And they were calling her over, but she didn't want to play. She just wanted to make sure she knew where her other brother was. And so she went and sat down, and there was literally no other computers that were working, and I wanted to play. And so when he realized she wasn't coming, he didn't want me to sit in between them. So he moved his seat over once he could be sitting next to his friend, right? And so he told me not to sit there. And I was like, "Bro, you don't tell me what the fuck to do." I was like, "As a matter of fact," and I sat my ass down anyway. And then we started roasting each other, right? I can't remember all of the roasts. I just remember this part where he was like, "Yeah, that's why my hairline look better than yours." Oh, we was talking about fading and everything. Like we were talking mad shit, and then he was like, his friend was like, "Bro, did she just call out your fade?" And I was like, "Bro, nobody want that dusty ass fade on the top of your head." And I know what fade you was talking about too. And then he was like, "Yeah, well, that's why my hairline look better than yours." And I was like, "Yeah, if your hairline didn't look better than mine, there'd be a problem." Like, and he was like, "Bro, I love you." And I was like, "Mm-hmm." And then he was like, "Damn, like who the fuck was I thinking like to tell her not to sit next to us?" Like, and he was just going on and on about how he loved me. And he was like, "Damn, and she's silent too. Like, she not one of them loud mouth." And I was just like, mm-hmm. And the game we were playing were basically like Super Mario Bros, but on the computer. And I kept losing. The whole time we was talking shit, I was losing. But once I stopped talking, it was done for. I was kicking that ass in Super Mario. Okay. And then I woke up. Yeah. That was a crazy dream. I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck that dream was trying to tell me. Still trying to figure it out. So yeah.